ASMR. Hey guys. So today I'm going to do something a little bit different to my usual pack openings. Today I have two very special boxes in front of me. And no, the one on the right is not a phone. It's just a pretty conveniently sized box, quite a secure, safe box that I keep some very special cards inside. On the left hand side, I have this very special Team Rocket box, and inside there I keep my PSA cards. Now these aren't cards that I've graded myself, although I do have some currently being graded, but these are cards that I have purchased, and there are some really awesome cards in there. Some are, in fact, I think most of them, if not all of them, are of the Wizards of the Coast era. There are some Japanese cards, some English cards, so we will most definitely be having a look through those. And in the Samsung Galaxy S7 box, I have a selection of cards that I'm going to be sending off to PSA to be graded. And there's quite a variety of, again, I think they're pretty much all vintage cards. There are a few newer ones that I was considering, but they don't really have any sentimental value to me, and they don't really have a huge amount of monetary value either. So I thought in reality, for the cost of sending them to PSA for grading, it probably wouldn't be worth it. Anyway, why don't we get started with the PSA cards? So I will set the cards, the raw cards, over to the side there. And we will get this box opened up. And I will very clumsily stack them over to the side, and we will go through them one by one. They're not in any particular order whatsoever, and I'm not even sure what order they're in myself. So let's start with this one. Now this one's very special. This was actually the first PSA card that I bought. It is a Aquapolis Wizards of the Coast set, and it is a Mint 9 Sudowoodo Holo. And as you guys may or may not know, because I probably haven't mentioned it recently, Sudowoodo is in my top 5 favourite Pokemon of all time. He is just, look how sassy he is. He does not give a crap about anything. He is just walking around, showing off his green balls, and he couldn't care less what you think about him, and that makes me love him. And if you don't love him, then I don't understand why. So I felt like I just had to have this card in my collection because it's probably my favourite artwork of all time of Sudowoodo, and I managed to get it at a really, really good price. It's a really clean 9, as you can see. The holo is basically flawless. There's almost no whining on the back either. I'm not actually sure what it's marked down for. There may be a mark or two on the holo foil. I'm not sure. But anyway, that doesn't bother me. Sudowoodo is perfect. Maybe one day I'll get him in a 10 gem mint. So I will set him off to the side. Let's take a look at the next card. Hello, Blaine's Charizard. So, like a lot of collectors out there, I like Charizard. It's pretty basic, liking Charizard. Everyone likes Charizard. Charizard was always the OG. Charizard was always the big dog, or the big dragon. And this particular artwork is no exception. It is really awesome. I do love a Charizard in action artwork. There's quite a lot where Charizard's just kind of hanging out. I'm a bigger fan of him when he's in full flow. And this is a perfect example of that. Again, it's a Mint 9. It's from the 2000 expansion Gym Challenge. It wasn't a set that I collected at the time. By the time this had come out, I had kind of stopped collecting. I'd got to that age where I was kind of like, yeah, it's not, I'm interested in other things now. I want to go out with my friends, I want to drink and stuff. So it was, Pokemon cards fell by the wayside. And this was one of the first sets that I didn't touch. But now I've had a chance to go back. I decided that I wanted this Blaine's Charizard in my collection. Again, I decided that I could have paid out for a Gem Mint 10 or a first edition, but in reality, I'm not collecting this purely for financial or monetary value. There isn't a huge amount of sentimental value for this set for me. I just love this particular artwork. And so a Mint 9 Unlimited was more than enough for this particular card. The first editions and the Gem 10 get pretty pricey, so yeah, I'm just rambling. And this video is going to get very long if I don't stop. So let's move on to the next card. These are all English cards so far. There are quite a few Japanese cards. And here it is, the OG. One of everyone's favourite cards of all time, the base set Charizard. This particular iteration is the Unlimited and therefore the cheapest. There are other versions which go for quite a lot more money. The Ultimate is the first edition, Shadowless. I know everyone says first edition Shadowless, but I'm pretty sure the entire print line of the base set in first edition was all Shadowless anyway, so it's just a first edition. So the first edition Charizard in a Gem 10 is worth upwards of £50,000 these days. It is the ultimate chase card for any Charizard or any collector in general, in fact. There's also the Shadowless print run, which came after the first edition. I know that they fetch thousands in a Gem 10. Then there was the Unlimited run, which is this, which was the most highly printed version, which is therefore the cheapest. I think the Gem Mint 10 of this particular card still fetches over £1,000. The 9 is a lot more affordable, and the difference in reality between a 9 and a 10 is usually just, I mean, this is the actual holo is completely clean, the front is clean, the centering's perfect. But if you look on the back here, sorry, my sweaty hand has marked the case there. If you look down here, there is a tiny white speck. And that tiny white speck there is the reason, as far as I can see, that this card is not a 10 and is a 9. And when I'm displaying this card, I'm going to be displaying the front, not the back. So that really doesn't bother me. The front is absolutely flawless. And there we go. One little difference you might notice actually is that this number here is the number of the card, essentially in chronological order in which it was graded. So this is a relatively old one. And if you compare it to this one, it's in the 4 millions, is it? 4 million? 43 million? 43,960,505. And that was quite a while ago. And in fact, this is a new style case. So they're quite different actually. At some point they switched over to these QR codes. I'm not sure exactly when. But yeah, I thought I'd just point that little difference out to you guys in case you're buying PSA cards and you notice that they're different and you're worried that maybe one is fake and one is not. In fact, they're both perfectly genuine. One is just a lot older than the other. And on to the next. The Crystal Kingdra from Aquapolis. As you might have noticed, I like Aquapolis. I like the e-readers. The English e-readers are kind of pricey. And that's why I got this card in a near mint to mint 8 and not any higher. I love this card. I love the artwork. I love the crystals. But again, this is not my favourite one. It was just one that I took the opportunity to buy at a really good price. And yeah, it's just a really cool artwork. I just love how the e-readers look. And again, if you don't know what e-readers are, they were a card the cards have this particular design, but they were basically designed to be read by a kind of add-on for the Game Boy Advance, where you could scan the cards into your game and you'd get the Pokemon, or you get bonuses. I don't know, I didn't have it at the time, but that's my understanding of it. And I have to be honest, at the time that I first saw the e-readers, I thought they're kind of ugly. And now I look back and I think, why did I think that? I guess I was focusing a lot more on the border than I was on the actual artwork they were using, because I think it's beautiful. And so yeah, there we go. That's the only crystal that I have. I will be getting more eventually, but it's going to be a long time coming. And now, as you can see by the back of this one, we're on to some Japanese cards. And onto the first Gem Mint 10. So this is again an e-reader, as you can see, and it's from the Japanese set Town on No Map. They were all first editions, I think. I think there were non-first editions, but the first edition print runs were pretty extensive, so they're pretty common. That's not really anything special, and it doesn't make them more expensive. I think, if anything, the non-first editions are rarer and more pricey. But the Japanese cards in general, the quality is higher, the consistency is better, and the likelihood of getting cards grading at a 10 is just higher, significantly higher, to the point where these particular cards, although the artwork is exactly the same and it's a Gem Mint 10, I actually picked up this card for £20, which is nothing. I mean, it costs half that to grade the card itself. So the card in that on that basis is £10. Absolute gem mint. Vintage Japanese card. It's 2002 this came out, so getting on for 20 years. £20. It's the value for money is ridiculous. Like, if you like these artworks and you want to get yourself a Gem Mint 10 collection, or, you know, if you want to save even more money, a Mint 9 collection of the e-readers, I could not recommend getting on eBay and searching for the Japanese equivalents. I think Town on No Map is one of the Aquapolis ones. I think it's not as cut and dry as it is in the English set. I think it's spread across a couple of sets. This is the main one, I think. I think I've got a card from the Skyridge equivalent as well coming up. But yeah, I mean, if you want these cards and you look at the English prices and just think, no way, which is what a lot of people probably think, then I highly recommend going down the Japanese card route. It is exactly the same artwork. If anything, the quality is better, the stock is better, almost everything about them is better. It's just not the English card that you may remember. But yeah, enough rambling about that. Let's look at the next one. And this is another Aquapolis equivalent in Japanese, I think a more popular card at the time, with the Houndoom Holo. Another Gem Mint 10, another Perfect 10. I just loved this artwork and I wanted to get this card. I think I won it in an auction for £30 maximum. I figure that given the popularity of the e-readers, I'm surprised that there isn't more of a market for them. But I'm not complaining. I don't care about the value necessarily. I just care about this artwork. And if I wanted the equivalent in English, the exact same artwork, Gem 10, Aquapolis, Houndoom, it would be probably around £300, 10 times the price, at least. So, I mean, for me, it's a no-brainer. I'm not fussed about having a Gem 10 collection of all of the e-reader holos. It would cost, well over £10,000 if I wanted to do that. So this is the cheaper way to go. And if I get one or two of these a month, then I'm good. I'm golden. Anyway, on to the next. I won't dwell on these too much. This is another holo, Gem 10. An Entei, again from the Aquapolis equivalent Town and No Map set. I'm pretty sure I got this for less than £30 as well. So, get yourselves on eBay, but don't buy them all because I want some more. And here we have an Umbreon. Absolutely love this artwork. Look at that swirl there. Absolutely love the swirls in these cosmic holos. But as you can see, this is from Split Earth, which I believe is one of the sets that made up the Skyridge English set. There is actually an Umbreon in the Aquapolis set as well, and I think when I bought this, I might have thought that this was the one that I wanted, but to be honest with you, I'm not complaining. I love the artwork. And it's a beautiful card, and pretty sure again that the Umbreon in English Gem 10 is, I don't know, £400 or £500. It's crazy money. When you can pick these up, I think I picked this up for just over £30. It's just crazy money in the English sets. And you're getting the exact same artwork, so I don't know. Clearly people don't really rate this, but I think it's great. So yeah, I think maybe collectors are worrying too much about the current value of their collection and how sought after the cards are that they've managed to pick up. But for me, it's not about that really. It's just I love this artwork. And so, yeah, I'm going to keep going down the cheap route. And I say that, but I did manage to pick up recently an English Aquapolis holo, and a very sought after one too. Sorry if it's a bit glary in these cases. I just like to keep the PSA cases in as good a condition as possible. Sorry about that, guys. As I was saying, although I've been talking about the benefits of picking up the Japanese versions of cards, I hadn't actually seen this one in Japanese. I think I saw one in Gem 10, but it was going for significantly more than the others that I picked up. And I was going to buy a Beckett graded Espeon of someone, but again, it was too expensive really, and I didn't want to do it for that kind of money. And I found this in America. Not while I was in America. I found this on eBay from an American seller, I should say. And it was like strangely cheap. It seemed to be from a legit seller, and it's a completely legit card. And it's a Mint 9 Espeon. I managed to pick it up at a really good price, and it's really, really clean. It looks really nice. And like I said, although I'm not fussed so much about getting the English ones, if I can get the English ones for cheaper than I can get the Japanese one for, then obviously I'll pick it up, and I did. I think it's only going to go up in value as well. It's one of the more popular cards in the Aquapolis set. Again, the 10, it goes for hundreds, so that's kind of not a reasonable option right now, but this was a really great deal. So if I did ever want to sell this on, then I would just definitely make a profit on it anyway. So there you go, guys. As you can see, my collection of PSA cards is pretty e-reader heavy, pretty Aquapolis heavy, apart from a couple of Charizards. I did set out to collect the Aquapolis holo set when I first got back into collecting, because I thought there's so many sets out there that I've never really touched, and that was one of them. I do also have a small collection of not great shape Aquapolis holos, but to be honest with you, I'm probably going to scrap them and just focus on the PSA ones. They just look better as from a collector's standpoint. But yeah, anyway. I could talk about this all day, but instead, let's get into this box of cards that I'm planning to get graded by PSA in my next submission. So I'm not 100% whether I'm going to get this graded. I know it's not worth much. I just kept seeing it pop up on eBay, and I just love that artwork. Picked this up for next to nothing. It's basically in mint condition. There's one, I don't know if you can see it. Just there where my thumb is, in the lightest part of the flame there. There's a tiny ink dot. And I know it's barely visible, but I'm pretty sure that would get marked down by PSA. And if this is only going to get a 9, then it really isn't worth grading. So what I'm probably going to do is just get some of those One Touch Ultra Pro magnetic cases and stick it in one of those and display it without grading it. And I may do the same. Oh, by the way, sorry, this is I think it was a Neo promo from about 2001, 2002, as was this Pichu. Now this one probably would get a 10. I can't see anything wrong with this at all. I bought it alongside that Charizard. But again, I know that it's not really worth all that much. So I may give it to my daughter, so that she can display it with a few other things that I've given to her. But I just thought that the reverse holo looks really cool. The kind of reverse Cosmo look, cosmic holo, and the artworks are really cool and cute. So I thought for the price, I'll just pick them up, and I did. Next up, I picked up a Charizard lot, and these two CP6, which is the 20th anniversary set in Japan, the equivalent of the Evolutions, XY Evolution set here. These Charizards were part of that, and again it was a cheap lot of less desirable Charizards, I suppose, but I know that these go for a reasonable amount in a 10 grade, and I'm not going to get them out of their sleeves right now, but I've had a look over them and they are, they're mint, they're flawless. There's also a really cool swirl on the holo in this one. The holo on the one on the left is a bit less cool, but the holos, there's no print lines, there's no scratches, there's no whitening, the centering is good. So I'm going to send them both in, and hopefully they both get 10s, and hopefully I can I'll probably keep one and sell one or gift one. I don't know yet. Anyway, we're back to Aquapolis. I've been sort of, I guess, acquiring some raw cards sort of bit by bit. There's a couple of Facebook groups for UK sellers, and I think I bought this one from someone on there, and it looks in really good shape. I don't think it's Gem 10 worthy. It'd probably get a 9. But basically I'm hoping that all of these cards that I submit will get either a 9 or a 10. That one has a really prominent swirl. I know that, to be honest, I probably would never have noticed those swirls until I started watching people talk about cards and PSA grading and collecting on YouTube. And everyone always talks about the swirls. Oh, look at the swirls. And now I can't stop noticing them. But they are kind of cool. And it does definitely add something to the holo around the Pokemon. Again, this one, I can't remember. Yeah, there's a white nick up this corner here that's probably going to preclude it from being a 10. But that's definitely a solid 9 candidate right there. Which means for me it's worth grading. This Fortress, this is actually Skyridge, not Aquapolis. In the English sets, the easiest way to tell is obviously this little symbol down in the bottom right here. But I tend to just look at the date. The date on the Skyridge is 2003, or the Aquapolis and Expedition are 2002. So yeah, this is a Skyridge holo. The back is super clean, but I'm pretty sure when this arrived, I checked it over, and the holo had a couple of little imperfections, a couple of little scratches. I think they're just up there. Sorry about the glare there, but yeah, it's not perfect, but I would still hope it would get a 9. So definitely going to send that off. Now this one, I've checked this over probably 3 or 4 times, and it just looks absolutely flawless. There's nothing at all on the holo. Someone's probably going to spot something when they're watching this now and tell me, oh, I've spotted a scratch or a print line or something, but literally the surface looks absolutely flawless, and the back is minty. It's clean. There's nothing on there at all. So I have to be honest, I'd be really disappointed if this did not get a 10. So when I send this off, guys, pray for me, because probably in like a few months' time I'll be getting this back and opening it up on YouTube, so you'll be going through the same pain with me if it's not a 10. Anyway, finally, bit of a random purchase, but I love the gold stars, I love the artwork, I love the style of the cards, and someone was selling this Japanese Alakazam gold star from the EX. You know what, I can't remember which set this particular gold star was from. I'll have to look it up. And I don't know what the name of the Japanese set is, to be honest. But it's in really, really nice shape. There's one imperfection. It's so minor. Just there. Where the edge is a tiny, tiny nick. I would really hope that PSA would overlook that, but I know what they're like. I would love for this to score a 10. I mean, the holo's completely clean. The centering's pretty damn good. It would. I want to say it definitely get a 9. You can never say that, but if it didn't get a 9 even, then I would be very shocked. But it could be a pretty valuable card if it got a 9 or a 10, but obviously 10 tends to jump significantly. Same with the Arcanine. I think the value of the 9 is sort of £60-70, whereas a 10 would put it over 200. So yeah, keep your fingers crossed for me, guys. And yeah, that's that. Put these up there, and I'll pick this up just so we can do a few little taps, a few little crinkles before I say goodbye. But anyway, this video has ended up being much longer than I had intended. It was just going to be a quick video to go over the PSA cards and the next submission. But it's ended up going well over half an hour, so I hope you guys have stuck around or fallen asleep. And I hope that it was kind of vaguely informative for you in case you're interested in either purchasing some PSA cards, starting a PSA collection, or getting some cards graded. So thanks guys for watching, and I will see you guys very soon. Goodbye and good night. Goodbye and good night. Please check out my other videos and subscribe.